At the intersection of ancient Stoic philosophy and modern psychological principles lies a sophisticated framework for navigating complex emotional landscapes, particularly when facing the challenge of being replaced in a relationship. This approach, termed dark Stoic psychology, represents a calculated synthesis of traditional Stoic virtues with contemporary insights into human behavior and emotional dynamics. Unlike conventional responses to relationship replacement that often emphasize reactive emotions or desperate attempts at reconciliation, dark Stoic psychology focuses on cultivating internal strength while strategically influencing external perceptions through controlled actions and authentic transformation. The core principle of this methodology rests on what practitioners call emotional inversion, the deliberate reversal of expected emotional responses to create powerful psychological effects. When someone replaces you in a relationship, conventional wisdom suggests feelings of inadequacy or desperation are natural reactions. However, dark Stoic psychology proposes that these situations present unique opportunities for personal mastery and strategic positioning. By maintaining absolute emotional composure while simultaneously initiating a visible transformation, individuals can trigger what psychologists term comparison recalibration in their ex-partner's mind, fundamentally altering how they perceive both their current and past relationships. This approach diverges significantly from mainstream advice about handling relationship replacement in several crucial ways. Rather than focusing on external demonstrations of success or artificial confidence-building techniques, dark Stoic psychology emphasizes developing genuine self-mastery and emotional intelligence. It recognizes that true impact stems from a person's ability to maintain their center while selectively revealing aspects of their evolved self, creating an aura of mystery and depth that naturally draws attention without resorting to manipulation or forced posturing. The fusion of ancient wisdom about human nature with contemporary insights into attraction mechanisms creates a magnetic presence that intrigues and attracts without appearing contrived. Modern relationship dynamics further validate this approach through what behavioral experts call the replacement paradox. This principle suggests that when someone actively seeks to replace a partner, they often subconsciously measure the new relationship against the old one. Dark Stoic psychology operationalizes this concept by teaching individuals to engineer specific conditions where this comparison becomes unavoidable, yet unfavorable to the replacing party. This isn't about revenge or punishment, but about creating an environment where natural human tendencies toward evaluation and reassessment work in your favor through authentic development rather than artificial manipulation. The methodology also incorporates elements of social proof theory and status dynamics, but with a unique twist. Instead of pursuing external markers of success or popularity, it focuses on cultivating internal qualities that naturally generate social proof. These include unshakable self-confidence, purposeful action, and selective vulnerability, traits that cannot be faked or artificially acquired. The result is an authentic form of high-status behavior that others instinctively recognize and respond to, rather than surface-level demonstrations of wealth or social position. This approach transforms potential feelings of rejection into catalysts for genuine growth, while simultaneously creating conditions where regret becomes an organic response rather than a manipulated outcome. Crucially, dark Stoic psychology integrates the concept of emotional scarcity with the Stoic virtue of detachment. In modern dating contexts where attention and validation are often freely given, practicing measured emotional investment creates a powerful contrast effect. This isn't about playing games or withholding affection arbitrarily, but about demonstrating emotional mastery and discernment. Individuals naturally gravitate toward those who can offer genuine connection while maintaining their own emotional sovereignty, a combination that satisfies both evolutionary preferences and modern relationship needs, particularly when contrasted against the immediacy of a replacement relationship. Mastering emotional composure, the foundation of strategic response. The cornerstone of making someone regret replacing you lies in cultivating unwavering emotional composure, a skill that requires dedicated practice across three fundamental dimensions: cognitive restructuring, physiological regulation, and behavioral conditioning. Cognitive restructuring begins with developing acute awareness of automatic thought patterns triggered by evidence of replacement. Implement a technique called thought interception protocols. Whenever you notice thoughts of inadequacy or jealousy emerging, immediately redirect your mental focus to predetermined affirmations of personal value and growth opportunities. Create a repository of factual achievements and positive attributes that serve as concrete anchors against emotional turbulence. Physiological regulation operates as a critical counterbalance to emotional distress, functioning through what neuroscientists term body-mind feedback loops. Practice the 4-7-8 breathing technique systematically throughout the day, not just during moments of stress. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 7, exhale for 8, to establish baseline autonomic stability. Combine this with progressive, muscle relaxation exercises performed at regular intervals, training your nervous system to maintain calm regardless of external stimuli. Track your physiological responses using biofeedback tools or simple self-monitoring techniques, creating a data-driven approach to emotional management. Behavioral conditioning demands implementing what psychologists call response automation sequences, pre-planned actions that override impulsive reactions to triggering situations. Develop a hierarchy of potential encounters with your ex or their new partner, ranging from digital interactions to physical proximity, and establish specific protocols for each scenario. For instance, if you encounter them on social media, implement a 3-second rule where you pause before scrolling past without reaction, then immediately engage in a predetermined productive activity. Maintain a behavioral consistency log, documenting your adherence to these protocols, reinforcing neural pathways associated with composure through repetition and reflection. Create what therapists term an emotional containment system to manage particularly challenging periods. This involves establishing multiple layers of protection against emotional overwhelm, physical barriers, like designated no-go zones, digital safeguards, such as automated message filters, and mental checkpoints, predetermined moments for emotional assessment. Regularly review and adjust these barriers based on effectiveness, treating them as dynamic tools rather than rigid constraints. Use visualization techniques to mentally rehearse challenging scenarios while maintaining composure, building what researchers call emotional muscle memory through repeated simulated exposure. Develop a structured routine of emotional maintenance, activities that prevent buildup of unprocessed feelings. Schedule daily journaling sessions focused specifically on processing emotions without judgment, using techniques like stream of consciousness writing, followed by rational analysis of identified feelings. Supplement this with physical activities that provide healthy outlets for emotional energy, perhaps intense exercise, creative expression, or mindfulness practices. Track your emotional states through a detailed monitoring system, noting patterns and triggers that require additional attention or modified strategies. Incorporate what experts call resilience reinforcement cycles into your weekly schedule. Planned activities that build emotional strength through controlled challenges. These might include public speaking engagements, difficult conversations with acquaintances, or deliberately stepping out of comfort zones in various domains. Document your experiences and emotional responses during these activities, creating a repository of evidence demonstrating your capacity for emotional management under pressure. This documentation serves both as motivation during difficult times and as tangible proof of your growing emotional mastery, physical vitality, and social influence, each requiring distinct protocols and measurement psi. Maintain perspective through regular implementation of cognitive distance techniques. Practice viewing your situation through multiple temporal lenses, immediate, short-term, and long-term, to prevent tunnel vision on current challenges. Use visualization exercises to project yourself forward in time, imagining how you'll view the current situation from future vantage points. This temporal distancing helps maintain emotional balance while providing clarity about which responses will yield the most beneficial long-term outcomes, rather than merely addressing immediate emotional discomfort. Strategic transformation, engineering, authentic evolution. The implementation of dark Stoic psychology's transformation phase demands a systematic approach that converts emotional composure into visible personal evolution, creating a compelling contrast between your current state and the memory of your previous self. This metamorphosis operates through what practitioners call transformation vectors, targeted areas of development that collectively signal substantive change while remaining authentically aligned with your core identity. Begin by identifying 3 primary domains for transformation: professional competence, physical vitality, and social influence, each requiring distinct protocols and measurement systems to ensure genuine progress rather than superficial enhancement. Professional. Transformation should follow a structured skill acquisition matrix that combines deep expertise development with visible achievement markers. Identify key competencies in your field that align with both your interests and market demand. Then implement a tiered learning system that progresses from foundational knowledge to advanced mastery. Document your journey through certifications, completed projects, and measurable outcomes, creating a portfolio of evidence that demonstrates consistent growth. Utilize what career strategists call visibility optimization, strategically sharing your achievements through appropriate channels while maintaining authenticity in your presentation. This approach ensures that your professional evolution becomes apparent without appearing contrived or desperate for recognition. Physical transformation requires implementing what fitness experts term progressive enhancement protocols, gradual, sustainable changes that accumulate into significant physical improvements. Develop a comprehensive program that addresses strength, endurance, flexibility, and overall health, tracking progress through objective metrics like body composition analysis, performance benchmarks, and health indicators. Incorporate activities that bring genuine enjoyment rather than solely pursuing aesthetic goals, creating a virtuous cycle of achievement and pleasure that occupies both body and mind. Maintain a detailed physical transformation log that documents not just visual changes but improvements in energy levels, mental clarity, and overall well-being, providing concrete evidence of your evolution beyond surface-level appearances. Social. Reconfiguration plays a crucial role in effective transformation deployment. Gradually expand your network through carefully selected social circles that support your development while offering opportunities for meaningful connection. Implement a relationship diversification strategy that intentionally broadens your social portfolio, reducing dependence on any single source of validation or companionship. Attend events, join clubs, or participate in community activities that align with your new pursuits, creating natural pathways for relationship development outside the context of your past relationship. Track these interactions through a social engagement journal, noting both technical skills acquired and interpersonal connections formed, ensuring your social evolution remains purposeful rather than random. Creative expression emerges as perhaps the most powerful avenue for transformation during this phase. Choose artistic mediums that resonate with your authentic interests, whether writing, painting, music, or other forms of self-expression. Develop a structured practice routine that treats creativity as a professional discipline rather than a casual hobby. Maintain a creative journal, documenting your progress, insights, and emotional responses to your work. This record serves both as a motivational tool and a repository of personal growth evidence that can be revisited during moments of doubt or uncertainty, while simultaneously signaling to observers your commitment to multidimensional development. Balance. These activities through what productivity experts call energy mapping, identifying your natural peaks and valleys throughout the day and aligning tasks accordingly. Schedule mentally demanding activities during high-energy periods while reserving lower-intensity tasks for times of reduced focus. This strategic alignment maximizes efficiency while preventing burnout, ensuring sustainable progress across all transformation domains. Regularly review and adjust this mapping based on observed performance and energy patterns, treating it as a dynamic system rather than a fixed schedule, creating a rhythm of continuous improvement that becomes evident to others through consistent demonstration of enhanced capabilities. Document your transformation journey through a comprehensive tracking system that captures both quantitative and qualitative progress. Maintain separate logs for each activity domain, recording specific achievements, emotional insights, and personal breakthroughs. Use these records to identify patterns in your growth trajectory, adjusting your approach based on demonstrated effectiveness rather than theoretical assumptions. This data-driven methodology helps maintain focus on genuine development while providing concrete evidence of your evolution, both for personal motivation and potential future reference, creating what psychologists term visible momentum that naturally draws attention and admiration. The art of controlled visibility, engineering strategic presence. As transformation progresses, the strategic deployment of visibility becomes crucial in creating conditions where regret emerges organically, rather than through direct confrontation. This phase operates through what experts call selective exposure protocols, carefully calibrated appearances that maximize psychological impact while maintaining emotional sovereignty. Begin by implementing a visibility gradient that gradually increases your presence in shared social circles or mutual environments, creating what psychologists term peripheral awareness, existing within the other person's consciousness without demanding attention, allowing them to process your transformation subconsciously before conscious interaction occurs. Digital presence management requires particular attention to prevent undermining the authenticity of your transformation. Develop what social media strategists call pattern disruption protocols, deliberately altering historical posting rhythms to create calculated unpredictability. Instead of maintaining regular update schedules, adopt an intermittent posting strategy that follows no discernible pattern. This irregularity triggers what psychologists call variable reinforcement cycles in observers, making your digital presence more psychologically impactful even while reducing overall activity levels. Use platform analytics to monitor optimal posting windows based on your target audience's activity patterns, scheduling updates to appear during peak engagement periods without becoming predictable. Content selection proves equally critical in maximizing digital influence during this phase. Develop a content hierarchy that prioritizes posts showcasing personal growth, achievements, and independent enjoyment rather than relationship status or emotional states. Apply what marketing experts call social proof signaling, sharing images and updates that demonstrate increased social engagement, professional success, or personal development without explicitly stating these intentions. This indirect approach creates a stronger impression of positive transformation than direct declarations ever could, while maintaining plausible deniability about intentional strategy. Interaction management requires strict boundaries to prevent undermining the transformation's authenticity. Implement engagement protocols that allow for minimal necessary responses to mutual connections or professional contacts while completely avoiding any content that might reach your ex-partner directly. Use platform features like comment filtering, message screening, and privacy settings to maintain control over who sees your activity and how they can respond. Develop pre-written responses for unavoidable interactions, keeping them neutral and focused strictly on practical matters, creating what researchers call controlled engagement patterns that maintain professionalism without emotional entanglement. Timing and frequency patterns demand careful calibration to maximize impact while minimizing risk of misinterpretation. Use what behavioral experts term exposure cadence, spacing visible transformations far enough apart to maintain their impact while close enough to sustain momentum. Follow each period of increased visibility with deliberate absence that allows for emotional processing and memory consolidation. This rhythm creates what researchers call emotional resonance waves, periods of heightened awareness followed by reflective silence that amplifies the impact of each encounter, creating a natural cycle of interest and reflection. Social event participation should follow similarly structured guidelines. Implement a presence pyramid that begins with attendance at larger group gatherings, gradually moving to smaller, more intimate settings only when appropriate. Use written communication for strictly practical matters, keeping responses concise and focused while incorporating casual references to your recent developments. This approach provides glimpses of your transformation without appearing calculated or manipulative, allowing your ex-partner to draw their own conclusions about your evolution, creating what psychologists call organic influence networks that operate below conscious awareness. Monitor and adjust your visibility strategy through regular analysis of both quantitative metrics and qualitative feedback. Track engagement patterns, sentiment analysis of comments and changes in follower behavior to assess your approach's effectiveness. Create monthly reviews that examine how your visibility aligns with your overall transformation objectives, making adjustments based on observed outcomes rather than assumptions or emotional impulses. This data-driven approach ensures your visibility remains aligned with your strategic goals while adapting to evolving circumstances, maintaining the delicate balance between authentic presence and strategic impact. The psychological impact, triggering. Organic regret. The culmination of maintained emotional composure, visible transformation, and controlled visibility creates a powerful psychological phenomenon that practitioners term regret recalibration syndrome. This complex response manifests through three interconnected mechanisms: cognitive dissonance activation, social comparison escalation, and emotional anchoring displacement. As your ex-partner observes your evolution from a position of presumed superiority in their new relationship, their brain begins processing conflicting information that challenges their decision-making framework, triggering what psychologists call post-decisional regret processing. Cognitive dissonance activation occurs when individuals encounter evidence that contradicts their previous choices. In this context, witnessing your substantial transformation creates an irreconcilable gap between their memory of your former self and the reality of your current state. This dissonance intensifies through what researchers term contrast amplification. The stark difference between expected stagnation and observed growth generates increasing psychological discomfort. The brain's natural response to this conflict involves either rationalizing the original decision, often unsuccessfully, or acknowledging the flawed nature of their choice, leading to what experts call retrospective reevaluation cycles. Social comparison escalation compounds this effect through the operation of what behavioral scientists term upward social comparison mechanisms. Humans instinctively measure their current situation against available alternatives, and your visible transformation creates an increasingly unfavorable comparison point. This process activates what neuroscientists identify as reward prediction error circuits, the brain system for evaluating expected versus actual outcomes. As your ex-partner observes your enhanced social standing, professional achievements, and overall vitality, their brain registers a growing discrepancy between their chosen path and the alternative they rejected, triggering what researchers call opportunity cost amplification. Emotional anchoring displacement represents perhaps the most profound aspect of this psychological impact. Initial decisions to replace partners typically involve creating negative emotional anchors around the previous relationship while establishing positive ones with the new. Your transformation disrupts these anchors through what psychologists term memory reconsolidation, the process by which existing memories become vulnerable to modification upon encountering new information. As your ex-partner processes evidence of your evolution, their brain begins rewriting emotional associations, transforming previously negative memories into more favorable recollections, while simultaneously questioning the validity of current positive anchors. The intensity of these psychological responses correlates directly with the authenticity of your transformation and the measured nature of your visibility. Artificial attempts at improvement or forced demonstrations of success typically trigger skepticism rather than genuine reconsideration, while authentic evolution, accompanied by natural exposure, creates conditions for what researchers call emotional reappraisal cascades. These cascades manifest as increasing frequency of nostalgic thoughts, intensified memories of positive experiences, and growing dissatisfaction with current circumstances, all occurring organically without direct intervention or manipulation. Neurological. Studies reveal that this process activates multiple brain regions simultaneously, creating a complex symphony of emotional and cognitive responses. The anterior cingulate cortex processes the conflict between expected and observed outcomes, while the ventral striatum registers changes in reward prediction related to relationship choices. Meanwhile, the hippocampus engages in memory restructuring, and the prefrontal cortex attempts to rationalize these experiences, often leading to circular reasoning or exaggerated interpretations of past interactions. This neural symphony creates the intense emotional experiences characteristic of genuine regret, distinguished from mere nostalgia or fleeting doubts by its persistence and intensity. The duration and depth of this psychological impact depend on several factors, including the length of the original relationship, the circumstances of replacement, and the authenticity of observed transformation. Research indicates that relationships lasting longer than 2 years tend to generate more profound regret responses when confronted with evidence of significant personal evolution in the replaced partner. Similarly, replacements motivated by perceived inadequacies rather than fundamental incompatibilities show greater susceptibility to regret recalibration syndrome, as the basis for the original decision becomes increasingly invalidated by observable evidence of improvement. Behavioral manifestations of this psychological impact often emerge through subtle but telling patterns. Increased social media monitoring, unsolicited inquiries about your well-being through mutual friends, and attempts to justify current relationship choices represent common indicators of growing regret. These behaviors, while potentially uncomfortable to witness, serve as valuable feedback about the effectiveness of your approach while guiding future interactions. Advanced practitioners recognize these signals not as invitations for reconciliation, but as evidence of successful psychological recalibration, maintaining their strategic position while allowing natural processes to unfold. Ethical considerations and personal integrity in modern relationship dynamics. The implementation of dark Stoic psychology in addressing relationship replacement must be firmly grounded in ethical principles that prioritize mutual respect and authentic connection over manipulative tactics. While the methodology offers powerful tools for influence and transformation, its effectiveness should never come at the cost of honesty or integrity. True mastery of this approach requires maintaining clear boundaries between strategic behavior and manipulative intent, ensuring that all actions stem from a place of personal growth rather than calculated control. This distinction becomes particularly crucial in modern relationship contexts where power dynamics and emotional manipulation can easily distort genuine connection into orchestrated performance. Respect for autonomy stands as a fundamental ethical pillar in applying these principles. While creating conditions for natural regret through strategic transformation, it's essential to honor the other person's free will and decision-making capacity. Avoid techniques that rely on creating false scarcity or manufacturing emotional responses through deceptive means. Instead, focus on enhancing your authentic qualities and letting natural consequences develop organically. This approach respects both parties' agency in forming connections and ensures that any resulting regret is based on genuine understanding rather than artificial constructs or emotional gamesmanship. Transparency and intention plays a crucial role in maintaining ethical standards. While some elements of attraction naturally involve subtle dynamics and strategic timing, these should never cross into territory of deliberate misrepresentation or emotional manipulation. Practice what philosophers term intentional authenticity, being clear about your goals and desires while allowing space for others to form their own impressions and make independent decisions. This approach prevents the relationship dynamic from becoming a one-sided exercise in influence and instead fosters genuine connection based on mutual understanding and respect for personal boundaries. Consideration of long-term implications guides ethical application of these principles. Rather than focusing solely on immediate regret or potential reconciliation, evaluate how your actions might affect the potential for healthy relationships in the future. Techniques that might generate short-term impact but undermine long-term compatibility or trust should be avoided. This forward-thinking perspective helps maintain focus on building meaningful connections rather than simply achieving temporary validation or conquest, ensuring that your approach remains aligned with deeper values and relationship goals that transcend individual situations. Emotional safety represents another critical ethical consideration. While strategic vulnerability and emotional control are central to this approach, they must never be used to exploit or manipulate another's emotional state. Maintain awareness of your impact on others' emotional well-being, practicing empathy and compassion even while demonstrating strength and independence. This balance ensures that your approach remains respectful and considerate rather than potentially harmful or exploitative, creating conditions for authentic connection rather than artificial attachment or manufactured regret. Finally, personal accountability serves as the ultimate safeguard against unethical application. Regularly examine your motivations and actions through the lens of integrity, asking whether your behavior aligns with your core values and principles. Create a personal ethics checklist that evaluates your approach against key criteria: authenticity, respect, transparency, and mutual benefit. This ongoing self-assessment helps prevent the methodology from devolving into mere manipulation, while ensuring that your pursuit of personal growth and potential reconciliation remains grounded in genuine development and ethical conduct. By maintaining this commitment to integrity, the process transforms from a tactical maneuver into a profound journey of personal evolution that honors both participants' dignity and autonomy. The transformative power of authentic evolution. The journey through dark Stoic psychology reveals that true impact emerges not from artificial manipulation or desperate attempts at reconciliation, but from the authentic cultivation of personal growth and emotional sovereignty. This approach fundamentally shifts how individuals navigate post-relationship dynamics, moving beyond simplistic notions of revenge or regret-inducing tactics to embrace a deeper understanding of psychological recalibration and authentic evolution. The integration of Stoic principles with modern psychological insights provides a comprehensive framework for developing magnetic qualities that resonate deeply with others, not through contrived behavior, but through the organic expression of refined character and purposeful action. The paradox of this methodology lies in its emphasis on self-mastery as the path to being remembered and potentially pursued. By prioritizing emotional control, demonstrating strength through action, and practicing strategic vulnerability, practitioners naturally create conditions where admiration and longing become organic responses to genuine change rather than manufactured outcomes. This approach transcends traditional relationship advice by focusing on sustainable personal development rather than temporary fixes or surface-level confidence boosts. The resulting transformation affects not just romantic interactions, but all aspects of life, as the skills and insights gained through this process enhance overall emotional intelligence and interpersonal effectiveness. Ultimately, the true power of dark Stoic psychology emerges when individuals realize that the attention they inspire becomes a byproduct of their authentic growth rather than its primary goal. This shift in perspective transforms the entire dynamic of attraction, where the focus moves from seeking approval to embodying qualities worthy of admiration. The methodology's greatest achievement lies not in making someone regret replacing you, but in creating individuals who naturally attract attention through their genuine evolution and unwavering authenticity. Through this journey, absence becomes not just a tactical maneuver but a profound opportunity for personal metamorphosis that honors both the self and the other person's autonomy. The implementation of these principles reveals a deeper truth about human relationships, that genuine connection and admiration stem from authentic transformation rather than artificial manipulation. By maintaining absolute emotional composure while simultaneously initiating visible personal evolution, individuals create conditions where regret emerges organically as a natural response to observed growth and development. This approach transforms potential feelings of rejection into catalysts for genuine growth, while simultaneously creating conditions where regret becomes an organic response rather than a manipulated outcome, demonstrating the profound power of authentic transformation in modern relationship dynamics.